So it's very rare these days that immigration is coming up with something positive. But actually there is a good news, and immigration has launched 2 new programs which are going to be very important for you to understand, so that you are able to make your PR easier over here in Canada if you are living in some certain communities. And this is an update where you don't need to study French for a whole year. You don't need to get CLB 7. You can get CLB 5, which is possible within 5 to 6 months, and get your PR. There has been 2 programs which are launched. The first one is RCIP and we have FCIP. RCIP is Rural Community Immigration Program and FCIP is Francophone Community Immigration Program. Both of these programs are almost similar to RNIP, which was a Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program, where immigrants in a specific rural areas in Ontario were invited to get first of all the provincial nominee PR and then the federal PR in Canada. But now these are the programs which are almost like an exact copy of RNIP, but just with different communities. A disclaimer, I am not an immigration consultant, so please don't take it as a legal advice. This is something that I have just observed, so I am giving my opinion and my information. Please do your own research and consult an immigration consultant. The overall process, let me first of all, explain you the generic process, and then we will dive into detail of each thing. See, over here what you need, see, in Rural Community Immigration Program, they have selected particular communities in which they will be targeting the skilled workers to get their permanent residency in that particular province. And same thing is for Francophone Community Immigration Program. You have to understand that these 2 programs, even though they are different, they are just different because of the language. Overall, their rules and their overall requirements, eligibility criteria is exactly same. I'll show you on the website. But the only difference is Rural Community Immigration Program does not have French, and it focuses on to specific 14 to 18 communities. And Francophone Community Program is specifically for Francophones, which is targeting to about 6 communities, and we are going to talk about it. To be eligible for either of these programs, what you have to do is you have to get a valid job offer in one of these communities, which I'm going to show you in detail, and you must have at least 1 year of related work experience, about 15-60 hours in past 3 years. With that, you need to show the proof of your language abilities. If you're just going with RCIP, then you have to do English, but if you're going with FCIP, then you have to choose French because that's a Francophone community program. If you are not in Canada, then you have to show the proof of settlement funds. Okay, you have to show that you have XYZ amount of money in order to settle properly in Canada. But if you're already in Canada, in those cases, I don't think so it's required, but I'm not an immigration consultant, so I can't really be sure about it. Okay, but the overall, when we talk about the program requirements and the flow of the program, this is how it's supposed to go. And talking about the job offer, once you get the 1 year work experience and once you get the designated job offer from a designated employer, the employer is supposed to launch an endorsement letter on your behalf and submitting it to the community. And once your endorsement gets selected, then you will be able to put this update in your permanent residency profile. Now, talking about the work experience, over here the thing is you don't exactly need tier 0, 1, 2, 3 job experience. Okay, literally if you're working in any of these communities, you can have tier 0, 1, 2, 3 or 5 tier of work experience as well. Let's go to IRCC website and properly dissect the differences between RCIP and FCIP. Actually, there are no differences. Let's talk about the common things over here. Okay, so over here on this tab, I have opened Rural Community Immigration Program. On the second tab, I have opened Francophone Community Immigration Program. As you see, if I switch in between, you will see that there are no specific differences between both. Okay, so specifically because we are targeting French, let's talk about French first of all. Okay, so in order to apply, you must have a job offer from a designated employer in community, have at least 1 year of work experience as we mentioned, and prove your language abilities. Talking about the language abilities, for French we need CLB or NCLC 5 in all 4 abilities to apply for Francophone Community Immigration Pilot. Okay, easy. CLB 5, not that difficult. If you study hard, within 5 to 6 months, you will be able to get CLB 5. Let's talk about the Francophone communities which are eligible for this. Okay, you can only get job offer from these communities. If you got job offer from any other communities, obviously then it won't be eligible because those won't be counted as Francophone communities. So these communities are Acadian Peninsula, New Brunswick, Sudbury, Ontario, Timmins, Ontario, Superior East Region, Ontario, St. Pierre, Jolie, Manitoba, Kelowna, British Columbia. So these are the 6 communities for now. Talking about RCIP, everything is same. The only difference is over here we are supposed to give English exam rather than French, because this is almost equal to RNIP, which was Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program. And in order to get a job offer, it's important that these communities are under these ones that you can see on the screen over here. So these are the communities which are eligible to launch your pilot program. And once you have a job offer from your designated employer, he will be sending your community recommendation application directly to the community to review. And once that is accepted, you have that particular update, and you can update that particular changes in your permanent residency profile. So it's going to be a two-step process. Either you go with RCIP or FCIP. So this was the positive update from IRCC. Now, if you are someone who is living in one of these communities, it's a recommendation to start focusing onto it and do more research so that you are able to create a permanent residency plan for yourself. If you would like to learn French for TEFTCF Canada, reach out to me and I'll be there to help you. See you in the next one. All the best.